of who this character is. In the game, it was a female. I just gender flipped it because
Yep.
I just don't play females. So the power tags are can't die, already dead. So basically what we have here is someone who was involved with a lab called Helix Labs. And one day, he just kind of woke up on a slab. But, I do not breathe. I don't need food or drink. But when Postmortem woke up, he woke up in an abandoned lab facility. So there were weapons available, and he's kind of discovered his powers, or I guess it's mythos in this. I've got a sniper rifle. I have the ability to generate force fields. I have a tracking device. I'm really good at tracking, interrogation, martial arts, stealth, climbing. So basically what we've got is an undead assassin. And that's kind of the way I'm playing it. If you see Postmortem, there's a... it almost looks like an albino. He's kind of completely drained of blood. It's not zombie in that I have pieces of flesh falling off my face. There's a preservation. I look just like anybody else, but there's a blandness or a gray or an undead kind of cast to him. He vaguely remembers his past before he died. We still don't know how he died and how Helix Labs got a hold of his body, or if he, I don't know if it was like, one of the Terminator movies where he's an ex-con and he signs his body over to science. You just don't know. But it's very disconcerting to kind of be with someone who doesn't breathe, doesn't need food, doesn't need water, doesn't need sleep. It's kind of like a walking corpse that can kill you. I'm dead and I make people dead. If we were playing Fate, that would kind of be my high concept or my aspect, right? So that's kind of what you have. We've got a walking dead who can kill you really efficiently. So
go ahead.
The big mystery here is, what is my past? How did I end up at Helix Labs? And right now I'm kind of vacillating between gun for hire and private investigator. He tends to go between the two because as he moves through this life, word gets around, there's a guy who can't be killed, but who can kill people. Do villains hire him? Does he work with other heroes? Does he kind of go to the highest bidder? So there's a lot of kind of unanswered, it's a gray area. And, this city seems to run on gray areas, or this game seems to run on gray areas. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with this character.
That's one of the things that really interests me about your guy is that, it's all the questions, which is your kind of story tags on your list, like, who was I before I died? So really you don't know. I mean, you're coming from, you just know you certainly have abilities and skills, and you woke up in this lab. How do you imagine yourself emerging from the lab on that day that you kind of were revived or you woke? What's that scene look like?
Well, it's almost like what was the movie 28 Days Later? I think when the guy wakes up on the gurney, he kind of that's the opening scene of the movie where he kind of goes up and the labs are abandoned. Who knows how long they've been abandoned? They just kind of left me on the table. I don't know if they had to evacuate quickly or if they're just like, we're shutting down. We ran out of money, like any government agency. Just leave it. It's fine. It'll stink after a while, but then it'll just decompose. So, I kind of wake up and it's almost like a blank slate. It's tabula rasa, right? Where you kind of go, well, whatever I tend to write on it, that's, I can reinvent myself. Yep. But as I went around the labs, I find gadgets, I find guns, I find, it's almost like Batman's utility belt. What does this do? Well, if it shocks me, it's going to shock someone else. It's probably trial and error as I wandered through the labs, with one of those things where your ass shows in the back or something, or just naked and running around, and then, maybe I found like a really cool suit or some body armor, or something from their SWAT team or their security team, and I just kind of figured out I'm pretty damn good at this. I can't miss. I point my gun, I shoot, I kill. One shot, one kill. So it life is an adventure now. Life is life is kind of wandering through this life, through the city, wherever we are, and kind of rediscovering things. Well, I remember what popcorn tastes like, but it really doesn't do me any good right now. I can't taste popcorn. Oh, I would like a cold beer, but I don't need beer. It's kind of for show only. Maybe it's there.
So
you go.
You can drink, but you don't need to drink.
I don't need to drink, right? Yeah.
The thing I like about your character is it reminds me of the old movie Highlander. I don't know if you've seen it, where the guy, basically they try to kill him and they throw him in the lake, and he just walks in the bottom of the lake, and he can breathe in the water because it doesn't really make any difference. So we'll need to engineer a lake or a river or something we can throw you in at some point. Now, have you any thoughts? And if not, that's fine. I'm going to bring one of the other guys in. Have you any thoughts on how you might have first made contact in this crew?
Maybe word got around on the street, because this is such a unusual character. It's like, we hired, there's this guy, and we wanted to hire him to bump somebody off, and he comes in and he looks like death warmed over, literally, and we don't know whose side he's on. So maybe he goes to the highest bidder, or, maybe this group, they kind of think they need him. It's like, well, we kind of need somebody who can shoot people. So we heard about this corpse that can shoot people. So maybe it's a curiosity that they invite me in to begin with. It's like, well, we got money. We can throw some at him and he'll shoot people. We need people dead, or, we need to protect people. Maybe there's a bodyguard aspect, or something of that nature. But I'm not familiar with the other characters yet. So maybe once they introduce themselves, maybe one of them can bring me in from their character. Maybe we've worked in the past or something of that nature. That simple, maybe.
Wayne's character Excalibur is kind of like the Bruce Wayne. She's got the money, she's got the contact. But I'm wondering if mitosis or mitosis, however you want to say it, maybe discovered. I keep going to say Deadshot. Post-mortem.
That's all right. Deadshot, post-mortem, it's all, I don't care what you call me, just as long as your checks don't bounce. That's fine. Call me Bob.
Mitosis was kind of the reject, kind of down in your luck and roaming the streets. I'm wondering if you heard, or maybe Wayne, were working out how you guys as a team discovered post-mortem, and maybe even Flickr, Chris. Maybe you were doing your online stuff and you were picking up reports of some bizarre, a
YouTube video, right?
Yeah.
Look, shaky YouTube video of a corpse.
As you were kind of telling your story, I did kind of have an idea.
Go ahead. Yeah, go for it. Go for it.
So I'm playing Flickr, but I'm going by the name. It's my hacker moniker, and it's I'm gonna put it into.
You can actually rename yourself if you want to. I've renamed myself post-mortem because I have no idea what my name is. Unless I look on my toe tag, maybe.
So he's got his hacker moniker as Override, and he spells it out with letters and numbers, and he sits, mostly keeps to himself and stuff, and he does test his own hacking skills by trying to see just whatever databases he can hack into, different websites and stuff. Often getting himself like trying to work his way around getting like free shipping on an Amazon order or something like that, you know. But
the important things of life.
but
Spend the $99 and join Prime, dude. It's not that difficult.
but to him, those are just party tricks, right? Like those are just things that he just kind of, you know, keeps himself. And he's just out of his teens, so like it's all just fun and games to him. And he tries, you know, one night to just kind of go and go for gold, and he sees this site that looks like it could be a cover to something, and he tries to hack into it, and he starts finding all these routes to unless I am unable to do this, routes to this Helix Labs. So he decides to start kind of, you know, digging in, going deeper and deeper. And something happens with his laptop, and it starts flashing all these images, and he has this weird sense about him. And he can't seem to break through the wall that's stopping him. And he goes out, he decides to get some air. He grabs his headphones, listens to music. He's walking down the street, and he has this moment where the scene kind of gets quiet, and he's looking around, and the city is just not the same as he knows it. And all of a sudden, he looks up, and like the skyline's on fire. He's just having this vision of like these shadowy creatures just everywhere on every corner, and it's just totally messing with his head, because this is not the city that he has lived in all his life. He doesn't know how the hell this happened. And he hears like a sound of a car like revving its engine, and he snaps out of this trance, and he's back in the city as it normally is. And this car is like it's just barreling down the street, and this person's walking out to the middle of the road, and without even noticing what he did in the blink of an eye, he notices he's standing next to that person, and he's pulled that person out of the way of that car. And he's not sure what happened, and he's now trying to just get out of there, go home, and make sure he goes, you know, unnoticed. He just books it. So he tries again later on, after he's mulled over everything that's going on. You know, how did that happen? What's been going on to him? And he tries to go back to that site, and he tries to break through again. And he does manage, like almost as if like one of those things where you get so frustrated, you put it down, you come back, and it's like cakewalk, right? It's no problem. He gets in, and he starts looking at some of the security cameras, and he sees in one of these security cameras this person, possibly post-mortem, wandering around, picking up gadgets, trying different things out, kind of starting to figure himself out and arming himself and everything. And now he's curious because, you know, not long ago, this thing was like, as he was watching the feeds and everything, this was just a body that was on a slab, and it gets up and starts walking around. And now he's really fucking curious, because he has, you know, he's never seen anything like this. And probably from there, he starts tapping into like the city's security cameras and stuff like that, kind of keeping an eye on postmortem from afar, until eventually maybe actually works up the courage to follow him like in real life, in person, and like try and like get an eye for who this person actually is. And I'm sure postmortem probably is perfectly well aware, once I get out there in person, that somebody's tailing him and stuff like that. And eventually he, you know, maybe we confront each other, and that's how we get to know each other.
You're muted, I think.
Or I almost kill you. You know,
Or that.
the things that bring people together.
That's possible. Yeah. Maybe, you know, you think that I'm somebody chasing you, like, you know, stalking you, and
someone from Helix trying to reclaim their property.
And then you realize when you like maybe, when you confront me and you grab like my shirt and you notice that when my hood falls back, I'm just a kid. Like,
Right. Exactly. Yeah. That's nice. I like that.
Plus, Override has this fantastic power under space-time warping. It says act just before it happens. So even if post-mortem, launched a bullet, you acted just before it happened. There's this kind of time travel element to your powers, your newly awakened powers, So that sounds awesome.
I know Kung Fu. Yeah.
I don't. My body just acted.
Okay, so how about, that's great. I really like that, Chris. That's good, and I like your version of the character, and so the awakening stroke, this break into the Helix Lab thing that for you almost was the same storyline. Would that be right? Kind of within a short period of time.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm wondering about Excalibur here and Mitosis. So Excalibur and Mitosis, how do you guys? So these two have met each other somehow or other. Now, is this on Excalibur's radar?
Yeah. So I was thinking when Chris was going through how his character is, especially with the hacking. So Excalibur, like Kim was saying, she's kind of like a Batman type character, but since we're playing a different game from last time, I want to make her more akin to Laura Croft than Bruce Wayne. So she's still wealthy. She still has her family's wealth. She has her connections, according to all of her tags. But she's like an archaeologist. And that's how she's come across her mythos, which basically creates any sort of weapon. It's kind of like an energy weapon. And the way I look at it is kind of how the X-Men Psylocke, how her blade comes out of her hand, sort of a psychokinesis type of a thing. So that's like basically her power, and eventually she can create like a full plated armor, and she can pretty much create any type of weapon. But she likes the idea of a sword. But when she gets back to the city, and I'll say that her awakening is she wakes up in her chateau basically with no real memory how she got there, but she's rediscovered that she has this power, and she decides to use the power for good, to go out and fight crime and to right the wrongs in society and things like that. But because she's this well-known individual, she wants to keep like a secret identity basically. And so I'm thinking that Override, I don't know how long it will be between him meeting post-mortem and him meeting the rest of us. But I was thinking that if he's a hacker, perhaps he hacked into maybe the city cams or something like that and caught me actually fighting or something like that, or transforming using my mythos. And I'm actively trying to conceal my identity. But of course, Override knows who I am and maybe starts doing a bit more research to try to get in contact with me, seeing that I also have some strange powers. So I was thinking about it from that point. I don't know how Frank wants to go about it, because I'll say that Frank and I would have met the same way we met in the previous game. Like I was fighting crime, and he was doing pretty much the same thing, and we ended up actually helping each other, and that's how we got to know each other. So I myself have no direct contact with Postmortem or Override as of yet. But I'll let Frank and the rest of you, if you want to add some more stuff in there, how we've met. But I'm just sort of opening that up for Override.
So in the city, the way the game breaks it up, there's different regions and areas, so it makes it quite sandboxy, where you can really just pull from those areas. I'm guessing, you're saying, Wayne, that Excalibur was in the chateau, so that would be probably part of the old town in the city, where you've got the old cobbled streets, and the museum is down there, and the art galleries are there, and it's maybe on a little bit of a rise in the city, where the original city was built from the old town. And you've got the industrial areas, which is really bleak, and some poverty-stricken areas, just like most cities. But probably your chateau, I would imagine, if that works for you, is kind of sitting maybe on a bit of a hill somewhere, maybe overlooking some of the city. And so you're used to that classier.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
World.
Yeah. I was also thinking, just as you mentioned that, because I'm sort of the, I guess, oligarchy, where I have money, perhaps Override, I'm not going to say he's jealous, but is the type of kid that's like, wow, this person has plenty of money. Let me hack into their bank account and just take 2,000 here or there or whatever. They won't notice it. And after a while, of doing that, I might notice that there's been some discrepancies in my account, and maybe, I don't know if you want us, if this particular session is just us meeting and getting together, or if you had an actual adventure for us. But
we'll do a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then maybe I can get Frank and we'll try to figure it out and try to trace it, and that's how we meet up. It could be that way. However you guys want to do it.
I could totally see Override doing something like that. Or he gets a little full of himself, and he's trying to freeload to give himself as much time to look into some of the things that's been going on with himself. And maybe he's tried siphoning money from different bank accounts and stuff like that from the city's bank, and it just so happened to be one of yours was the one. And I may run like a program that makes it so I don't necessarily have it traced by other people, but for some reason on your particular account, it's the same amount every time. So it comes up highly suspicious, and that's how you end up finding me or finding out about me.
So yeah. I'm wondering if Wayne, if Excalibur sent Frank down to sort this guy out,
Send the muscle.
Hey kid, come here.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, it could be because I don't know who's doing it, and it's an actual criminal act, and I'm thinking that maybe there's a crime boss or something like that. They have a hacker that's trying to get some funding, and I don't want any sort of ties to any criminal organization. So I'll send Frank down, and if it is mafia or whoever, maybe Frank can sort him out and let me know, and I'll join him. But then I guess we'll find out it's a kid and he's just...
Maybe it was a clue when you noticed it was a subscription to World of Warcraft. Maybe it wasn't a crime boss, but I don't know. Frank,
skewing a bit younger.
Frank, how did you make? Maybe you're the guy that made contact with Override at first there.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be funny if, I don't know if this fits or not, but it would be funny if maybe Cassandra realizes she's been hacked, and she doesn't want to bring in any sort of authority because it would then open her up to be revealing her identity.
That's good, yeah.
She goes sort of undercover, maybe through me. I don't know. I'm not really into the computers, but maybe I have a contact in the city that points me into, hey, I know this excellent hacker. He could probably find out who it is, and it's actually you. So Cassandra hires. Okay.
That sounds cool. I like that.
Hires Override to find the hack, and it's actually him.
So I've got an image. It's a little bit Matrix, but I've got an image of Frank turning up. This Hulk, bang, bang, bang on the door. I understand you can find out, and you realize when you meet, and this is something that's a premise in the game, that the ordinary people of the city do not recognize your legendary or supernatural powers. In fact, the reason it's called City of Mist is because there seems to be this overshadowing. When you display your power, even on the street, people confuse it or don't understand it or see it as something else. and you're very aware that there is something other than your own power at work in the city that causes the sleepers, as you call them, the ordinary people, to confuse, forget, or get mixed up about your supernatural abilities. On the flip side, when you guys meet each other, normally speaking, there may be a sense, a crackle in the air, a tingle down your spine, that there is something going on with that. You can pick up that sense of the mythos and others, so you can see, the beautiful form of Frank, in the game, mitosis, and you can see that form. Whereas the ordinaries of the world, or the sleepers, as you sometimes call them, don't see that.
It's kind of like, I was going to say, it's kind of like in Highlander when two immortals show up in the same area, they can kind of sense each other.
Yes.
Like recognizes like, yeah.
Yeah. So it's maybe not always completely obvious, but there's a sense that something's happening. So maybe Frank's bang, bang, bang on the door. I don't know if you want to, and what happens there, Jeff, when you open the door and here's this young dude, he looks like he's pale, not because he's undead, but just because he doesn't get out much,
I'd like to imagine that the banging on the door, and I look through the little eye hole, and as dirty as it is, you just look like you just look like this pretty big buff dude, but I don't see any badge or anything like that. So
you see the middle of his chest. He's standing so close. He's so tall. That looks like somebody's belly button. Yeah.
I crack the door open, and the chain is restricting it from opening up any further, but it's just enough for you to make contact. And I just imagine you just bursting the door through. I got a bowl of cereal. I spill it all over myself.
Nice. Yeah. Perfect.
So does mitosis eat up the cereal, or what?
No, I think maybe he went in with the idea that he was going to bust some heads, and then when he realized he's just a younger guy and not, quote, that much of a threat, he feels like either he's got the wrong house, but then when he realizes the potential, then that's when he will maybe ask Override to join, or I don't know.
How about this? As maybe Override kind of stumbles to the floor and he's got his cereal all over his jeans or whatever, and they needed a wash anyway, didn't they? But he's kind of on the floor looking up, and for a moment, Override, the mist is gone, and you're terrified for a few seconds as you see the mythos form of mitosis. And you see this huge hulking brute, and it's pretty frightening, and immediately for 2.5 seconds, this isn't an ordinary human being that's come to see you. This is somebody like you, but certainly different to you, who has powers. And I think equally, maybe, as mitosis, you're looking down and you see the fear in Override's eyes. There's almost like a jittering VHS effect where he's fluctuating, and the nervous energy in him is causing his power to rise, and it's almost like he's teleporting within a millimeter of himself, and you're seeing this blurring, and you're about to, we need to find this guy, and you realize this is a young boy with powers. And so how does that conversation go? It turns from you dirty rat, you, to, you're like me, but not like me,
Yeah. Or maybe even his first impression was when he sees this younger guy eating the cereal, he's like, this guy's not a threat at all. And, what am I doing here? I could crush this guy. And then when he catches that glimpse of the time shifting and the flickering, it's enough to actually put fear into mitosis, that he's like, whoa, what am I dealing with here? And am I in deeper than I expected? Yeah.
And he wants to become a dad.
Override just got himself a really ugly looking dad. And just to say, because all of you probably won't know unless you had a good look at the character sheets, mitosis can grow extra limbs, you know. It's one of his powers. So basically, his cell structure can multiply and he can do all sorts of crazy things. So maybe when he reaches out to lift you up, 2 arms appear override and pick you up off the floor.
Yeah, I like to imagine that when like I got knocked back over, and I'm just like, I'm pissed because he rudely like entered the house, and I'm like just kind of like all like getting up, and I'm just like, God, man, that was my last bowl of Cocoa Puffs, man. What are you? Oh, holy shit, what are you? And like that's when, you know, he starts getting like nervous, and I'm just like paralyzed, like kneeling on the floor, like just, like halfway between getting to a standing position.
Yeah, that sounds good. And so let's cut to the, so, you know, I like that intro. That's good. It's good fun. And maybe mitosis takes override to see the lady. What kind of age is your Excalibur, Wayne? I think she's supposed to be a bit older, but you can have a younger version. I don't really care.
I'll have her in her early 30s.
Okay, so she's quite young and good looking. So
quite young would be like in her early 20s. So
okay, I'm just a bit older, so that's still young for me. And so you get introduced to this young guy who mitosis kind of brings him along, I guess, to, well, maybe not to your mansion, maybe to some other place. Do you have somewhere that you guys want to meet as you begin to kind of gather as a team?
Well, I will say that there would be this particular cafe that serves up like day dishes and all sorts of sweets, and it's a place that mitosis likes because, well, it's mitosis and he just loves sugary shit. So
yeah,
I order a big like I ask for a large mug and ask for like a 2-liter soda, and I'll have it all poured out for mitosis, or I should call him Frank. And I'll get the sugar dish and I'll pour the entire dish into it, and I'll ask for some honey and I'll toss that in there too. Have it all split up for him.
Good stuff.
Yeah, we did that with our last session. I figured that with mitosis. First of all, I don't know if you guys know, so I'll just rewind just a little bit. I'm an ex-boxer. I was rather famous at the time, so but I had a car accident where I was with a bunch of people and there was somebody else driving and we were all partying too much. And there was a car accident, and we smashed into the back of a truck, and it was some sort of toxic waste kind of thing, and it spilled on me, and that's what converted me. So my mythos is a little bit different than everybody else's in that I kind of know what happened to me, but at the same time I don't know anything about why, or like why was this toxic sludge being transported around the city. And I thought of one possible tie-in with postmortem is that maybe the
Helix Labs truck.
Exactly. Exactly. So that could definitely be a tie-in.
Yeah, definitely. And really that was a time when your life kind of, you were doing well with the boxing and all that, and so after that accident everything just went down the tubes, didn't it?
Yes. So I'm picturing myself that I probably have money and more than I need at this point, but at the same time, I kind of like have retreated out of the spotlight completely. So I've got just like a small little row home sort of thing. You know, I don't keep it up at all. Keep the windows closed most of the time. I have 2 cats, so that's what gets me through everything. And I was just going to say that was something that Wayne and I developed with the previous one, was that I picture him sort of like the Hulk, where he normally has 2 arms, but when he either needs it or when the rage kicks in, that's when things start to grow. And after it all happens, like after the adrenaline rush crashes, that's what he just craves sugar. So it's like he expends all this energy, and then it's just a matter of he just tries to get as much sugar as he can to replenish all that energy.
I love how, you know, the battery for your power is like sugary treats. That's a great power. Okay, now let me ask a practical question. How are you guys for time, and how long it's on the hour? Are you happy going on for a bit just now? I know it's a completely different time over there. Can we do?
I assumed 2 hours.
Yeah. So shall we do 5 minutes as an intro? Is that okay? Have you got time for that?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I don't actually know, because of all the audio stuff that was going on at the beginning. I'm not sure when we signed on, to be honest. So let me give you just a little city backdrop, and then the phone's going to ring. The city is every city, the backdrop for your story. Its streets, alleyways, and rooftops are where your characters will uncover disturbing truth and investigate the meaning of their mythos. Here you unleash your mythic powers and fight for what matters the most, making harsh sacrifices for the truth and the liberation of the city from the insidious powers, human or otherwise, that linger in the dark. So I guess you're all perhaps hanging out, having one of these moments where you're hanging out, and Excalibur gets a call from a friend, not actually that far away from your home, maybe just a mile or so away from where you live, maybe a couple of miles where you live. He's an art gallery owner, Michel Amagis, French, and he's got a gallery called Avandi, and he phones you in a little bit of a panic, Excalibur. He says, "Oh, I need your help. I need your help. Somebody has broken into our gallery and stolen some plans, which have been on loan to me for a new display. And he's terrified, basically. He doesn't want to contact the officials because the plans were provided by City Hall. And there's some exhibition coming up to do with the older buildings in the city, and they were showing the blueprint. And this is like the original copy. And he knows that you have contacts, and he knows that you go on trips and you investigate things. And so he's really reaching out to you for help, and he's asking you to bring, if you have one or two of your companions or yourself, just to come to his art gallery and help him out.
Yeah, I'll do that. Now, are we all together at this point, or?
If you want to be, that's absolutely fine by me. Or not, it's up to you.
If not, then I'll give Frank a call, since I'm closest to Frank. I'll let him know that, you know, we have an investigation, and I'll tell him pretty much the long and short of it. And any help will be welcome. And I'll also say, if you can get in touch with that kid who tried to steal my money, perhaps he can do some investigation through the surveillance, if there's any.
Cool. Let's just say you get together and you shoot, or you meet over at the Avandi Art Gallery, and it's in the Old Quarter, not far away, as I said, from your home. You notice as you arrive at the scene that there's some graffiti on the side walls. This building is an old style building, 2 stories, with a kind of modern rooftop kind of extension, like, you know, some nice skylights and all that coming into the gallery to help show up the gallery. So let's just say you go into the gallery, and Michelle is in a bit of a fluster, to say the least. I'll just hopefully pull up a picture. And can you see that okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you can see, he's the typical art gallery owner, and he's in a bit of a fluster. What he tells you is that that basically these plans have been stolen from his office, and but at the same time, one or two of the cabinets seem to be damaged. You can see some broken glass. You can see some pictures on the walls, kind of standing on standalone panels. Very modern display inside the old building, and above the floor that you're on, there's a suspended floor leading to a doorway onto the roof at the top with some pieces of work on the top as well. So this is where you guys can investigate, and or we can cut if time's up. We can cut here, or we can investigate. I'll leave it up to you.
And you mentioned something earlier called a mythos form. So when I walk into anywhere, I mean, do they see me as I am? Like, that dude's pale. He looks kind of dead. Because I get it's almost like, everybody has a secret identity or they're able to hide their skills, but this one is very obvious.
I think in your case, it's maybe not so much like a mythic forum, but if you wanted to look healthier, you might want to put some makeup on, but otherwise you're just going to look pretty,
undead.
Yeah, pretty ill. You look like you're really ill. Maybe you wear the shades to cover the deadness in your eyes. I don't know.
I think I'm going to use it to my advantage to freak people out and unnerve them, because I want the upper hand if they're going to hire me to kill someone for them. And, I'm going to assume for this thing, maybe Wayne's character decides, we kind of need somebody, mitosis has one specialty when it comes to killing people. And then maybe we need something with a bit more finesse or stealth, and then override. I got just the person for you. Let me get out. Let me talk to this person, and then maybe I'm just meeting everyone else for the first time because I've just heard override on the phone or through emails or something of that nature when I'm being hired for these hits.
Yeah.
So this is the first time I've probably seen all three of them. And the first thing I'm going to want to know is who's paying me, where, and because I don't know any of these people, and I'm not that altruistic.
So basically you're looking for the money, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, this, override said that somebody might need my assistance or my skill set. And I'm walking into an art gallery of all things, so I'm kind of confused.
Okay, so kind of to be clear, what's really happening as far as Excalibur is concerned is this Michelle, the art gallery owner, is really asking for a favor, from you, Excalibur. And maybe there could be some money in it, but I doubt he'd be able to bankroll, 4 guys. So I'm not sure what. I mean, do you want to convince somebody here?
I was going to say I have a suggestion.
Yeah.
As we're walking into the art gallery, and your postmortem is asking about payment and stuff, and I had this snap recollection that I did tell him that it was potentially a job, so he would be expecting compensation, and I didn't really think that through. So I turn and look at him, and I kind of give him like a sort of, hey, so yeah, so here's the thing, maybe if we don't get paid, we might find answers, maybe to everything that we've been asking, about ourselves. I mean, who knows? I mean, but that could be worth a lot more than money.
Maybe you offer to really do some more hacking into the Helix labs. because that's where I'm looking for answers specifically. So that's something that you're on the right track. You can kind of offer that, hey, I'll do some more. I'll give you, 6 hours of hacking time in the Helix Lab site, and anything I come up with is yours for free. You just kind of pass the information to postmortem, right? I mean, even if you could come up with whatever the hell my real name is, there's, it's just, everything is a big question mark. So I think that's definitely something that there's a bartering, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to, well, here's the cash. Here's a big old wad of cash.
Yeah, that sounds good. So are you up for that override? You're going to do some hours for them in terms of payment, first job, and all that?
Yeah. I'll just be like, all right, well, hey, so if it doesn't turn out that this doesn't pay, then anything I find along the way, I'll be sure to send it to you.
And I'm good with that, because my need for information is just as big as my need for revenge.
Cool. So override.
I noticed.
On you go.
I noticed there is a definite conflict between Bill's character and Wayne's character, because Cassandra, are you still going by Cassandra, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cassandra's got this on her sheet. It's got like social justice. So like I'm picturing her as like wanting to help people, clean up.
Very altruistic, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have this conflict now post-mortem who's like an assassin. It's like, wow. I mean, that's almost
Right
night
now,
and day.
yeah. Right now,
In case of emergency, break glass. That's when you bring me out, right? We don't really need you, but when we do need you, we got the bat signal, the death signal.
So, like right now, I wouldn't know that post-mortem was an assassin. All I know is that this is another person with powers. I don't even really know. I haven't even met you until right about now.
Correct. Right.
And my stance on fighting others that have powers like we do, others that have mythos, if they are a threat to society, I don't have a problem with putting them out of their misery. So I don't have a problem with you shooting somebody that has powers that are terrorizing the population. I would have a problem if you were given a job to kill an innocent civilian. Because
no, I don't think he would take that job.
Okay.
It's much more like Dexter. Dexter only kills people who deserve to be killed. I really don't take jobs where this person, they piss me off, so go kill them. No, I think we're on the same page when it comes to kind of a moral construct.
Okay.
The world is divided into two types of people, bad and good. I kill the bad. I don't kill the good because they've done nothing to me. They're going about their kind of sleeper life, and they're just kind of like they're there.
Okay. Yeah.
I think there's less of a conflict there than we think, but it's nice.
Cool. So how would Excalibur interact? Now, one of the things I would say override, we'll say that you go into the premise, you've met your new friends, new team members, you're going in as a kind of introductory thing. Excalibur, I'm sure you would go ahead and say hello to Michelle immediately. You know each other quite well. You get, the French kisses on either side of the cheek and all that. And he's obviously very anxious. Override, you're maybe standing there in the background just watching what's going on. You notice there's security cameras up there, one of the things that you tend to look out for. And you can see that there's broken glass on the floor. There's some broken glass on the suspended floor with the kind of little spiral stair going up to it. So we'll say, just to introduce this scene, how would Excalibur, how do you want to go about this in investigating the scene?
Well, first thing I would do is I would go to Override, and I'll say, if you can look into the video feed to see if it might just be this simple, where we you look into the feed and we find out who exactly stole these plans, and then we can go on from there. But if we can ID who stole them, like almost immediately, then we'll have we'll have an objective basically. And while he's doing that, I will get a look around the area to see pretty much just spot hiddens and things like that. Call it Cthulhu style. But let's see, what would I use though?
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Override's probably like just kind of a little let down because like he's expecting he's like, yeah, man, we're gonna form a team, we're gonna investigate some stuff, and it's like, really, I just gotta read watch the security camera footage. Like that's what I have to do. Dang. Would it be safe to say that I have like a tablet or a smartphone or something like that
Sure.
I bring with me to do some stuff like this?
Sure. And you hear Michelle saying to Excalibur as he's explaining in a flustered manner what's happened. There is security cameras. You can check the computer in the office, which is just through the room there. And not much at all has been taken apart from the plans, the blueprint from the office. So there's a cabinet broken into in the office. They seem to know maybe where they were going or what they were doing. And there's a glass cabinet in the center of the floor, what looks like a circular burn mark. So this isn't a guy coming in with a hammer. This thing's been melted in a circular fashion professionally, and there's some jewelry being taken out of it. And Michelle is like nonplussed. He's like, it was only worth a few $100, It wasn't even something of great value, but
We're more concerned about the plans.
Yeah.
Yep.
They just saw something shiny on their way out. Or maybe they were trying to cover. They wanted it to look like a robbery to kind of take away the fact that. So they would come in, look at that, but they wouldn't look on the desk or in the safe or wherever for the plans to be missing. It's almost like a distraction, maybe.
So Override, why don't we pop to you for a moment, and you're in the office. Why don't you do an investigate roll? And so that's 2d6, and tell me what tags you would be using to use your computer skills to get onto the live feeds and all the rest of it.
All right. The tags, I can only use one tag from each column, or can any of the tags apply?
You can use as many as you want.
So like under Mad Hacker skills, I have computers, network communications, and data mining. If I were checking the security camera network, would that include computers and network communications? Or would it have to be one or the other from Mad Hacking skills?
Both would be fine as far as I'm concerned. If you think it applies, you might know more about computers than I do.
So I'll go for that then. I'll use computers and network communications to see if I've noticed anything. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. So that's 2. Is there any more? So computers, networks, is that everything?
Computers, network communications. Unless sarcastic remarks works, because I'm kind of making like super sarcastic, like muttering under my breath, like, go ahead and be a hacker. Go look at the security cameras.
Okay. Well, I don't think that would particularly help you. But
Okay.
Since this is the first roll of the game, I'll allow you for +3. Okay. So
Nice.
roll your 2d6, and you can have 3, and you've got a very, very generous GM.
That's an 8. Plus 3 would be 11.
Right. Okay. So that's a good success. So on investigate, it says here, on a 7 to 9, you get to choose 1. So you basically tag 3 things. So that gives you a power of 3 on this. So you get to ask me 3 questions regarding what's on the computers, and I'll try and help you out. and I have to answer truthfully.
Okay. With the camera footage, can I see relatively clearly how many people were near the case that's been broken into?
You see something really strange. Now, at night, you realize that there's a security guard comes and does a tour of the building. So in the video, you see the security guard doing his round, looking pretty bored, you know, and you're getting it from about 2 or 3 different cameras around the building. So you'll get one on the stairwell, you'll get one right in the room with the display cabinets, and you'll get one from the back wall or the kind of roof direction. And you see that a security guard's wandering about, minding his own business, and suddenly he stops and he brings the torch up. Now there's small kind of ceiling, you know, built-in lights on, but he uses his torch, and there's this guy in the middle of the room, and he looks like he's up to no good. He's got some kind of rucksack type thing on in his back, and the security guard moves towards him, and as he moves towards him, he seems to just disappear.
I still haven't.
And then within a couple of seconds from behind him, the same person that was in front of him clocks him on the back of the head, and the guy slumps to the floor. So the security guard was actually knocked out, but the person that was standing in front of him vanished and basically was standing in the shadows, it seems, behind him, and went out. Then you see him going down to the case. You see some kind of glow going around the glass case. He takes that, and you see in the rucksack there's a tube coming out the top of the rucksack, and then he ascends the stairwell and goes out via the door at the back in the rooftop, basically a fire exit door.
Okay, and so I get to ask 2 more things?
Well, go ahead. I've probably given you about 3 things already. But
oh, no, I'm sorry. I thought I was asking 3 things. My mistake.
No, yeah, no, that's right. Go ahead if there's anything else you want to know.
The one thing I wanted to know is when they vanish, am I able to kind of, I know sometimes security camera footage is kind of grainy and stuff like that, but am I able to determine how the person vanishes, or is it like almost as if they just suddenly disappear, or is there like any sort of effect on them, around them?
Yeah, well, I like you say, it's not a great image, but it's almost it doesn't look transparent on the screen, so it's not like maybe a projected image. You don't see any light source, you know, like flashing a hologram or anything like that. But when the image disappears, there seems to be something kind of hazy round about it just as it's gone.
Okay.
I'm just PvP.
Already.
And do you want one more?
Well, I mean, you were saying, I mean, you did give me a bunch of stuff there, so. Okay,
so I'm aware of time. So, guys, what do you want to do in the main area, and then we'll just wind up. And are you guys free for another session maybe next week? We'll chase it up.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
It should be.
Okay, right. I'll email to check in with you about that.
Is everyone planning to go till 5 tonight? I mean, we still have like 40 minutes, or Ken, do you want to just cut it short, or?
Oh, sorry, maybe my time's wrong. How long have we got on this?
I think we still have about 40 minutes or so.
Oh, right, okay, that's great. Let's keep going. Are you okay with that, guys?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually wasn't entirely sure. I kind of assumed it was until 5, but for East Coast, but and I'm totally cool with that.
Okay, cool.
Right, that's great. Sorry, I'm misjudging the time difference, guys. That's my fault. Okay, that's great. Well, let's.
Just so you know, Chris, Ken's in Scotland, so. He's 5 hours ahead of us, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So it's like 9:22 or something like that.
So yeah, that's right. So who wants to take a scout about? And when if we're doing like multiple investigate, or you can go wherever you want to go in the building without doing a roll. What I'm kind of looking for is, we're not all investigating the glass cabinet, and we've got 4 people all investigating the glass cabinet. No, we want to use that kind of move in different ways that maybe your character would want to use. So we're not saying everybody roll spot hidden for the same stuff. We're kind of trying to narrate whatever you guys want to do with your own character in that way, or group of characters. So anybody want to check out any of the scene? Michelle's helping you in any way you can. And so somebody could talk to Michelle. You could check out the cabinets, the overrides already in the office, but happy if somebody else wants to go into the office. You can check the floor, the damaged goods, the suspended ceiling, suspended floor, and the fire escape if you want to.
Well, postmortem is bored, to be honest. This is a little low key for him. So he's discovered that he has some pretty remarkable military training, and he's gonna walk around, and he's gonna look like for ingress and egress, how they got in, if there's anything special about that. Does this person actually have training, or is this an amateur, or I'm assumed that do we know what override knows? Is this being like shared in real time, or are we going to have a debrief later where that's when I find out that we've got a teleporter or something of that nature?
I'm happy for you to know as just kind of like group knowledge, unless it's something specific, one of you is away in a different area or something like that.
Right.
So
If we're really separated. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just say override kind of shouting through sarcastically, oh, the guy's, doing some crazy stuff here, and he's kind of passing it on.
So yeah, I really don't have a lot that's applicable here. So my power tags are it's kind of a stretch.
Mm-hmm.
There's like, my assassin training, probably also it includes, stealth, climbing, martial arts. I'm trying to look around the studio and, maybe see, is this a professional hit? Are these professionals, or is this some knucklehead who actually got lucky?
Yeah.
From the marks on the case, they definitely came prepared. Looking at the tape, it seems like it was in, it was out. They weren't wandering around aimlessly. They had a specific mission in mind. It's like they came in, 3 minutes later they were gone. So it sounds very professional, or whoever hired them told them exactly where to look for, or if it was an inside job, the plans are over here on this desk specifically.
Yeah. I noticed that on your tags, maybe ones that might help in this kind of setting, or you've got under Angel of Vengeance, you've got tracking and alert. So they would be maybe good for, as you're saying, the entry in and out scene. So do you want
and
to...
I could even take a lap around the if I've got tracking, sure. I could also take a lap around the outside to see if there's anything there. I'm just going to kind of, it's not spot hidden. It's more like criminology or something like that. I'm just trying to put these together. If he's got the security cam covered, that gives us, 80% of what we need to know as to, well, this is how they did it, but how did they get in, and how did they, is there anything that would lead me to believe that this is one of Michelle's pretty freaked out. So under interrogation, I can kind of suss out that he's legit. He's freaked out. He called Wayne's character for a specific reason. This isn't just him trying to cover his tracks.
And that if you give him the dead eye treatment, the guy will probably pass out. I mean, it's just he's at that stage. You can see the sweat breaking out on the side of his forehead, and so okay, I'll say this without needing to do a roll for the moment. But what we'll do is we'll do an investigate for you, and just describing, what you've explained, going outside the building. But what you can see in the broken glass, you can see that there's obviously been movement upstairs, as override kind of confirms the guy was up the stair to exit. But shall we start off with you going outside the building then?
Sure. Sure.
So let's do an investigate roll for you then. And so with a success, you get to ask me questions.
Okay.
Do you want to tag tracking then?
I'll definitely do tracking. And I'm not really sure alert. I'm not sure if that means some sort of hypervigilance.
I think that would apply in this. I think that would apply in this situation. So I'll give you that as well. Anything else, or is that us really?
I think I could also use battlefield tactics, because if there's a certain way that they approach the building,
Okay.
Are these, like recognizes like? Am I seeing that this person might have a military or a special ops background or something of that nature? If I see certain clues, or I'm like, oh, I recognize that. That's the way I would have exactly done it with my training.
Mm-hmm. So you descend the stairs, you go down the 2 floors, and you're onto the street, and you can go down an alley. As soon as you go down the alley, you notice there's some kind of crazy graffiti on the wall there. It looks like animals and stuff. It's just kind of, it looks out of place. This is the old town. Give us an investigate then. So that gives you a +3 using all of those skills as you go around the back of the building.
All right, so I'm going to roll a 2d6.
2d6, yeah, plus your 3.
11 total.
All right, okay, that's a very good score. So there's no conditions on that. There's not any issue with that. That's so you've got a power of 3, which basically means you've got the +3 as your power, and you get to ask me 3 questions about what you find there. So I'll give you the first one, and then you can ask another 2. Is that okay?
Okay, sure.
Now with clues, if you feel like, or if I say to you, look, that's really all that's there, and it's just one clue, you can bank your clues in the game, and you can use them for information that applies to that specific or very similar type of thing. You can't just use it randomly on anything else, so you then go shopping and I want to find the bargain. It's nothing to do with the site that we're at, so I can't give you the clue then. But I'll give you the first one, and you can let me know what you want to do after that. What you do see, apart from the obvious graffiti, which you can see is fresh, this break-in took place in the early hours of the morning, by the way. So this is live, this event. You can see that graffiti is fresh, but as you follow the alleyway into the back of the building, immediately your kind of skilled eye notices there's the rubber tracks burn of a motorbike going at speed from the back of the building. And so you retrace that round to the back, and literally it's an alleyway with one of these old style fire escapes where the ladder is halfway up and you need to reach up and pull it down. That's down, and you can see obviously the tracks start from that point. So the bike that's left the place at speed was obviously positioned under the escape, ready to go. Now, if you want to, so this is a modern setting, so unless you don't have anybody to call because you're dead, you can have mobile phones with you, so you've got access to cameras and all of that kind of stuff.
Sure.
If you want to, take photos and chase up information. So just
I'm old school right now, but I will take a picture of the tread of the motorbike to see if it's a unique, if it's based on a unique bike or a unique tire. Maybe it's an expensive tire. It's only sold in a certain area, something of that nature. I'm going to take a picture of the actual tread.
Sure.
I'm also actually going to look at the fire escape. Is the ladder still down at this time?
Yeah, it's down. It's been released It's been
Right.
released. So, yeah.
I'm actually, my assumption here is that they basically, it's as easy as climbing up the damn fire escape and, finding an access on the roof or on the second floor, on the suspended floor. But can I see? Am I going to have to actually climb the ladder and go up and over to see it, or can I see the entry, the break-in point?
You can't see
ladder?
it. The only as you look up the way, you see just the kind of a peak of like a little kind of cabin style entry point, maybe a boiler room, or a water tank room, that kind of thing. So you see a little extension to the top of the building, but you can't see the actual door that leads in. That's kind of more central on the roof.
Okay, well, I'm actually, I'll kind of, I'm not going to exhale. I don't really breathe, but, I'll give like a grunting noise that voices my displeasure at having to like climb up a damn fire escape up onto the roof. So I'll go ahead and, go up there. And once I'm on the roof, before I jump over the ledge onto the roof itself, I'll kind of eyeball it and make sure I'm not going to disturb any clues that could be there. And then if I'm not, then I'm going to go onto the roof and look for the access point there.
Okay, so you come onto the roof and you can see there's nothing, obviously. It's kind of a little bit gritty on the rooftop, flat roof. You can see just some shuffle marks, but you've not got any footprints or anything like that. But you can see kind of shuffle marks, obviously leading onto the stair, the exit, but you see the kind of rise on the roof of the building where the doorway is, which is the fire exit. And as you approach that, you can see that the locks have actually been blown out. Now, there's two things you see at the same time. On that exit, you see some claw marks, some scrapes, like lines.
Fresh lines.
Yeah, and it's one of these thick kind of fire doors. But it seems slightly at odds because you can see that the actual, like the emergency handle, which you can't get in from the top, you can only exit from. But the handle has literally, the lock has been blown out, and you can tell because there's shrapnel on the top, you can tell it's been a confined explosive that's blown out that. You also see around the edge of the roof some more of that graffiti. You see kind of things that look like a spray painted claw or an animal. It's kind of strange designs and some patterns and symbols around the rooftop.
Okay, I'm going to do a couple of things here. I'm going to take a picture of the door handle. I'm just kind of gathering because, I'm not a detective, but, I do know that somebody else may have different expertise or a different set of eyes that can look in this and see something different. So I'm just going to kind of, do the grid, picture. I'm going to, are the claw marks fresh? Does it look like, so my assumption here is that they tried to claw the door. It was a bit too thick. And so then they decided to blow the lock. That's, I'm just thinking out loud, but I'm also going to take pictures of the graffiti on the roof. If I wipe my finger across that graffiti, is the paint still wet? Is it that fresh, or is it just?
It's not wet, but when you wipe your finger across it, you get color off on your pale finger.
Right. And there's actually not grime or dirt. This is freshly painted graffiti. Now, so I'm going to do that. I'll take pictures of the graffiti, pictures of the claw mark, pictures of the busted door, pictures of the shrapnel on the ground. And then I will actually open the door, and then I'll head down the stairwell, the fire escape stairway down to where everyone else is, just to kind of complete the circuit.
Yeah. We'll pause there because I might let you use your third clue if you want before you actually kind of descend onto the level. Let's go into the gallery itself. So we've got Mitosis and Excalibur. What do you want to do, guys? What are you looking at, or are you still talking to Michelle, or you want to do other things?
Well, I'm going to continue to talk to Michelle since most of my tags are social.
Yeah.
But I definitely, I mean, I sort of came in here and sort of started things off. So I'll let I'll let Frank do what he's doing.
Okay.
Before I continue.
Yeah, I kind of look at Cassandra, I'm like, who do you want me to hit? So I'm kind of like,
well, just look around.
Yeah, just kind of not even really investigating, just looking around, wondering, do people get paid for this sort of art thing? It doesn't look like much.
There's one picture that you're particularly drawn to, and it's kind of in a smudged picture of a boxer, you know, and you're thinking, I would maybe buy that thing, you know.
I would.
It's like $3,000, so it's up to you.
Yeah.
But, so as you just do the kind of walk around, you get to see the glass case. You look again at the round hole on the side of the glass panel, and you can see like scorched, blackened marks around it. So some kind of high-powered blowtorch or laser or something fairly high-tech, you would guess, to do that. And yes, there is broken bits of glass, but you can see like a quarter circle lying on the floor. You know, so there's been some kind of tool, and it looks like pretty obvious. You don't really need to make a roll, but it looks like a hand's gone in and some, you know, a couple of items maybe at the most. There's still items left in the case. None of the pictures up in the walls or the sculptures that are on stands have been moved. One over towards the stairwell up to the suspended floors fallen over and broken.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I'll just state the obvious then, that I think this person knew what they were after when they came in, because if this was just a burglary, they would have tried to take some of this art, because $3,000 for a boxer painting, you know, they left behind a lot of money.
There's probably about a dozen pictures around the walls, and the cheapest one would be about $1,500 to $2,000.
Right. Okay.
Those. Oh, okay. Is that it for Frank, or?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I'm talking to this guy, and I'm going to, I guess, I will use my tags of contacts in every neighborhood, and he's basically one of my contacts.
Yeah.
As well as, I'm pretty sure this guy's going to be forthcoming, so I wouldn't need my bullshit detector, but
I'll give you, you know, in this case, I don't think you would need bullshit detector, but you've got a +1 anyway, because he's really asking you for help. So,
yeah.
So this is like a willing informant, really.
Yeah.
It's more navigating his anxiety and that to try and get useful information out of him rather than trying to withhold, you know.
Well, I'll just use that. I'll have to roll this twice. All right. So let me do the roll. It's only 4 plus 1 is 5, right? You're giving me.
What else were you wanting to tag though? Because I'm happy for you to tag. You had, what was it you said?
I said
contacts and every seasoned negotiator.
Yeah.
So you can kind of negotiate, you know, not necessarily pressuring people, but negotiate Michelle's anxiety. That's 2.
All right, so that will be, let's see. So that's 7 altogether. So that's probably still not enough.
Okay. Well, let's just say he just seems a little bit overwhelmed. But what he does say is that he was he's going to be doing a display of the old buildings in the city, and this was the first blueprint that he'd received, the one that was stolen from the office. And the blueprint was from an old church. It doesn't think it's a particularly, glamorous church, but it's one of the older churches in Cross End, which is actually one of the poorer areas of the city. So the specific blueprint is a church building, and it's in Cross End. But
Yes.
so that was what was stolen. The jewellery that was stolen was worth a few hundred, under $1,000, maybe.
What type of jewelry was it? Was it like religious jewelry?
No, it was from one of the artists in the city, and a necklace and a bracelet, he thinks.
All right. I was going to, since we have our smartphones or whatever, I don't know if I have to roll another investigation for this, but I would like to do a bit of research on that particular property to see what sort of significance it has.
Okay. We'll say that, let's come back to that, but we'll basically say it's, just as I said, it's in the poorer part of town. Cross End is kind of pretty downtrodden, and you manage to quite quickly pull up a photograph of it. It doesn't look like it's in, it's not like a cathedral or anything like that, but it looks fairly run down, and you see something on their website about feeding the poor and stuff like that. So it doesn't look particularly remarkable, although it is an old church. It is one of the older buildings of the city.
Okay. I guess that's pretty much all I'm going to look into.
That's cool. Let's shoot back to the roof for a minute, and if you want to, Jeff, if you want Mitosis to head up onto that floor, you can above. Just watch you don't,
Yeah, I'm nervous about that.
Cave in.
Yeah. Is that thing going to hold me?
So let's cut back to the rooftop. So as you're heading back into the room, you see on the other side of that fire door where the lock's been blown, it's kind of, some of the bits have come out either end, So wherever it's packed, it's just kind of blown out the lock specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But as you're heading in, can I just use your third clue for this? Is this all right?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because this will give you, as you're heading in, something catches your eye from not this roof, but the roof across the way, and you see a figure kind of silhouetted against the morning sun on the roof in a kind of hunched pose, looking like they've got their knees up.
Like a gargoyle almost?
Perched, yeah, almost like that kind of position, perched on the top of a chimney stack, watching your movements.
Okay. One thing I didn't, yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay, so one thing I didn't mention is I actually, when I'm out in public, I actually carry what looks to be like a musical instrument case. But when I open it, it's actually my Helix Labs sniper rifle. So I'm actually going to put the case down, open it, and I'm actually going to, I'm going to look through the scope, bring this closer. I want to get a better look at what is looking at me.
You can see what looks like a youngish figure with a hoodie over, and maybe looks like he's got a really big nose or something funny about the front of the face. Pretty scrawny looking, and you would think, 18 or under. They look quite young, maybe about the age of Override, maybe even younger. The way they're perched there, it's kind of like you said, it's almost gargoyle-like or bird-like, the way they're perched. Almost, not quite, but almost their toes seem to be hanging over the edge.
How far or how close are they to me, because if it's like, let's say, a 10-foot alley, then here's the edge of my building,
Yep.
10 feet, then here's the next building. So they
Yep.
could be within 20 or 30 yards.
Yep. I would say, 30 to 40 yards away.
Okay, so he's,
Yep.
on the other side of the other roof.
On the and on the top, on this kind of edge. Yeah.
Mhm.
But
Now, does this person make any movement, or when we make eye contact, are they like, fuck you, or not scared?
Let me ask you how you do that. Now, obviously, it's a lens, but you're kind of in the doorway, so you're half in the shadow. So are you making that obvious you're looking, or are you kind of keeping back? How are you wanting to work that?
Does the door open in or out? Does it open out into the roof? I guess it would, because it's a fire exit.
Yeah.
So I can kind of use the door as cover.
Yep.
To kind of hide, well, they're bringing out a big damn rifle,
Yeah.
So I can kind of go to the edge of the door and use the scope there. I mean, if they've got really good eyesight, they might see the muzzle of a rifle coming around the side, but I'm not doing anything threatening at this exact moment, because I don't have my bracing hand on the rifle. I'm just one, and I'm just using the scope.
Well, what you see is, as you're looking through the scope, you see a kind of shifting going on, kind of like a shuffle to the side, and the head's going like twitching.
Yeah, and this reminds me exactly of what Override saw on the security camera.
No.
Different.
It looks different.
Okay.
The movements are very bird-like.
Got it. Okay, got it. So Override on the security camera, it was a time shift. This is actually just, it's almost like a beak. It's a hoodie. It's like the pigeons, they do this, or there's something slightly parakeet or hummingbird, or where it's a fast movement or vibration almost.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. I'm just showing you a picture of what you managed to get. Although this guy had a hoodie, well, you managed to get the best image when Override is kind of messing about with the graphics to get a clearer image. That was the dude on the camera. But no, this face is completely different shape, and it's kind of a lot younger looking than that.
Okay.
So what do you want to do now? Are you wanting to, it's clear that this character is observing this roof. It's clear that he's observing your movements, but there's no sense in the body language that he's coming your way.
Well, like I said, postmortem is bored, so I'm going to actually strap my rifle.
Yep.
And I'm going to get a running start, and I'm going to jump between buildings to the other building.
Okay, go for it. So do you let anybody know you're on the move, or do you just go for it?
Nah, I'm pretty much a loose cannon right now. So, it's not like we have headsets and we're talking to each other. Maybe I'll scream down the stairwell, I got someone, and I just kind of take off.
Okay, so we've kind of got an option here in terms of how we want to do this move-wise. So you can face danger, you use your abilities to avoid an incoming hit. Well, that's not this case. Endure harm, resist an influence. So that's not really the case. You take a risk. So when you perform a daring, risky, or outrageously stupid feat, roll plus power, and a 10 plus you do it. Somehow on a 7 to 9 things get messy. What kind of skill-wise would you see post-mortem doing that would really get them across that rooftop?
Cool.
Before this figure has, gets what's going on.
All right. So this is, everything always comes back to the power tags, as I understand it. So this is kind of like aspects in Fate, where you need to spin your aspect somehow to make the, martial arts, climbing, deadly surprise, battlefield tactics, So there's 4 right there.
Okay, so the one deadly surprise, these are like power-ups. We've not got access to them yet.
Oh,
So,
okay. So it's just the ones above. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'll definitely do the physical-based ones: stealth, climbing, tracking, alert. Because I should. This is almost like I've got the drop on him.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
he's kind of sitting there. So this is kind of where I'm trying to gain an advantage, where I just kind of like, and I'm coming your way.
Yep. I admit you're kind of feigning, you're going somewhere else, or you're just looking across a building, but you launch into this run. So, I'm happy to do the stealth, the martial arts for sure. For jumping the roof, you could give you alert if you want.
Alert. Okay. So that's 3.
So that's
do
a plus
you
3.
kind of want to stack these as much as possible to kind of stack the deck in your favor?
Absolutely. Yeah. You want to try and persuade me to give you as many as you can get, for the best success. So I think that works. Why don't you roll plus 3?
Okay.
2d6.
So I got a 5 plus 3, that's 8.
Okay, so on take a risk, you've got...
On 7 to 9, things get messy.
Yeah. So I can offer you a hard bargain or an ugly choice. Now, let me ask you before we decide on this. You could have the other option here. So just thinking through the moves. You could hit them with all you've got, although that's more to do with the battle scene. Yeah, I think we need to stick with take the risk.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm fine with that because
Okay.
I'm not sneaking. I'm not investigating. Hit them with all you got. When you kind of read it, I'm not really going toe to toe because we're not in a struggle at this time. Face danger isn't really the only one that could possibly would be change the game, and I think that's kind of like killing a fly with a sledgehammer right now. I think that's really beyond. So I'm happy with take the risk.
Okay, so here is the choice. I'm going to offer you a hard bargain or an ugly choice. Okay, so you're already dead. All right, so you can launch yourself, but as you launch yourself off, some of that grit on the rooftop slides under your foot. And you can reach the other side, but you're holding onto the ledge. All right?
That's choice A. Okay.
So that's choice A. The other choice, I'm going to say that you can have the second choice, which is you make your move as the character looks across the other side of the city, but you miss completely and you hit the ground, but he's not aware that you've just hit the deck. And you're dead anyway, so it really doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter, right? It's like the choices are in the first one. The character knows I'm on the way, and he could possibly come over and pry my fingers off that cold dead ledge.
Yep.
Or I embarrass myself thoroughly to the delight of no one.
You kind of face plant, and slide
down. I'm going to go with choice A, where I'm actually hanging on the ledge. Let's see what happens. I'm willing to take that risk.
Immediately you hear a kind of fearful squawk. And this character, you hear a fluttering sound and you realize this young guy has wings.
Cool.
But not fully formed wings. They're kind of splayed out from his arms and elbows. So he's very scrawny. And he's kind of fluttering, and he's kind of able to launch, but not like soar.
Right. It's almost like he's a chick as opposed to a fully formed bird. In
response to what he just realized, he didn't actually catch your movement at first. He didn't realize what was happening at first. He was glancing away, and then he suddenly sees, you're flying towards him, but you land. He then leaps across to the rooftop that you've just come from.
Nice.
And you're now hanging on the other side, watching as he's just, launched on the other way. And as you glance over, a couple of black feathers, pass by your nose and descend down to the ground below.
I'm like, son of a bitch. So a couple of things here. He's not a threat. If he was a threat, he would have attacked me. This is someone who's it's a bird. It's curious. It's just kind of sitting there staring at you. This is not someone, I assume, that, because they had me at a disadvantage, right? They could have actually caused me harm. They could have walked over there and just kind of went blink, 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 and down I go. So I don't think it's as much it's of a threat as I think it is. So I'm actually just going to let go and fall to the ground and land and, walk around to the front of the building, and we're just,
Okay, so as you fall to the ground and you get up, you realise, you've just pulled your hip out. So as you're walking, you need to kind of get the joint back into place. And
yeah.
You're kind of adjusting the bones. We'll say override where you're on that, something flicks up on the camera and you see a glimpse of a rooftop cam where you see the feet of post-mortem leaving, and then some other figure fluttering down and landing on this little water tank, building on the rooftop. And
nice.
Yeah.
Mitosis and Excalibur, you hear some kind of, you can hear the patter of feet, shall we say. both
somebody running across the roof and then
leaving and arriving. You begin to think post-mortem is like running back and forward or something on the roof too. He's just, keeping fit, keeping his dead body fit or something. I don't know what.
Nice.
Okay, guys, what override and the guys in the main room? You're obviously hearing something going on upstairs. What do you want to do?
I was actually going to suggest that as he's doing like the running jump and all that is happening, and the other figure falls, to our building side, that I did see something on the security feed while I was going back and playing through the tapes and stuff, and as I see it happen, I stop and I squint over at the little screen and I maximize it and I see him the side of the building, mm-hmm. and this other figure come down and I just go, holy shit! Hey, Mr. Johnson, you somebody might want to go up and check on postmortem. I something's going on up there.
And then you just see me let go and then fall. You just see these two hands just like boop, and then we're done.
I mean,
nice.
and clearly post-mortem, you're not walking right. There's kind of things out of joint and all that, as you're kind of even more weird looking than you are normally, but, and remember, Override, you've got those super speed skills, so if you want to do something here, I'm more than happy. Mitosis, what about you? You're hearing this kind of commotion on the rooftop.
Yeah, I'll start hesitantly climbing this suspended floor and try to make my way up to the roof.
And Excalibur, what about you?
Yeah, I'll head up as well.
Who's going first? Or does Override want to speed past you?
Yeah.
I would think that seeing postmortem just drop, that my first instinct, since especially he's the one that I am more familiar with, I would probably rush out of the office and hopefully down to the alley where postmortem had fallen. That'd probably be my initial reaction.
Okay, that makes sense. So you kind of do the super speed, scoot downstairs, and you're down there before post-mortem even gets into the stairwell of the building you're in. You're so fast, So, who's going first up the stairs? Excalibur and Mitosis.
Well, Mitosis said he was going up first, and I said I'm going as well. So I imagine he would be.
Okay, as he lumbers, there's a kind of spiral stair,
He's tippy-toeing.
The spiral stair is kind of, swaying under his weight, as
Is like mitosis unnaturally heavy?
is big. He's really big.
Okay.
So at least is that okay with you, Jeff?
That's how I'm picturing it too.
And so the spiral stair is probably built on like a steel pillar down the middle,
Mm-hmm.
but it's kind of shifting as you're treading up there, and as you gingerly put your foot on the suspended floor, it's shifting under your weight, and you're just hoping that's not going to go and level all the rest of the exhibition on the floor below, Anyway, you make it to the door. Excalibur's right behind you at your back, and you see this young lad with a hoodie kind of fluttering about, bouncing about, and he looks, I don't know if you know the word inse. He looks agitated. He looks like he's about to make a move, because something's going on. You have no picture of where postmortem is at all.
Yeah.
But instead of postmortem, you've got this young guy hopping about top of that building.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to do, both of you?
I think I'm not picking up on any aggressive moves yet, right? Is that safe to say?
The phrase fight or flight. This guy's definitely flight.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, that's the same conclusion I came to. Yeah.
So I'm basically just going to get to the top of the steps, see what I see, and then I'll sort of just take a defensive stance because I'm confused right now. Like I was expecting to see postmortem, and instead I'm looking at this bird creature guy. So I'm sort of defensive and just what's happening.
A little thought crosses your mind. Maybe postmortem has the ability to turn into a young bird boy.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yes, that's my power.
Yeah. How did you do that?
Excalibur, what about you? I notice you're tough as nails, and you've got a bullshit detector on you. So what do you want to do in this situation? You've got an eye for action.
All right. Well, I'll get up there and I'll be right next to Frank, and I'm going to assess the situation. So bullshit detector and toughest nails. I'll use those as my tags. But I'm also sort of getting into a defensive position as well. Not sure if this thing is going to attack us or not. So,
okay.
So that's 4 plus the 2. So that's 6. I'm rolling like shit today.
Okay. What happens is once you can see when mitosis comes out, the guy's freaked, and as you see him, you realize he's basically got a kind of beak, half kind of beak formation around his mouth, and you reckon he's probably about 14 or 15 years old, something like that, the most. But he sees you and his eyes go big, when he sees the size of mitosis, and when he sees the kind of posture like you're readying yourself for something, he turns around and launches himself off the roof and towards the next roof. He's obviously making an escape.
I look at mitosis, and then I sort of look at him and I start running, and I'm going to try to chase after him.
Okay, so this isn't the building that postmortem went to. That was like across the way. This is the kind of parallel, the next building along on the same block. So
okay.
So on you go, and so you're doing a run and jump basically.
Yeah, hopefully.
So
just remember, you're not already dead. You don't have that advantage.
Now, just to cut in, you see Excalibur going for it. Mitosis, do you want to do anything? As because his dice rolls have been crap. Let's be honest. So do you want to do anything here to kind of give him a boost or get over there?
Stop her. No, wait. No.
I actually have this is all about testing, limits of our powers too.
Yes, yeah.
So I'm going to try something.
Yep.
As I'm running, and I go to jump, I'm going to point my arm down, which holds my the basic amulet that gives me my powers or whatever, and I'm going to transform it into maybe perhaps like a rocket or something like that, like a RPG or something, and try to propel myself forward, like blast and propel myself forward.
Rocket jump.
So basically,
It's like Evil Knievel jumping the Snake River Canyon.
so you're going to blow Michelle's roof up as it launches launches onto the next roof.
You will never be hired again.
No, I'll pay for that later.
No,
I've got the money for it.
It's a rounding error.
Now, okay, I'll let you do that, but
I mean, would it be possible to do something like that, or is it just like, am I just being crazy right now?
You could take the risk, you can do anything you want. You could position that over the alleyway rather than over the roof. Lonnie's.
I'm not even trying to damage anything. I'm just trying to get that sort of boost from the rocket. So.
Okay, so what are you tagging on this? I'll let you use your weapon as a +1, although it's a pretty dangerous +1.
Okay.
That falls under stupid move.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want to look. I want to try something. All right. So this is this will be considered taking the risk.
For sure.
So roll plus power. All right.
So what are you tagging then, apart from your RPG?
All right. Let's see. I will toss tough as nails on there.
Okay.
And
do you want to tag family, friends, and high places for your funeral? Okay, so tough as nails.
And why not? While I'm at it, why not seasoned negotiator, so I can try to negotiate with gravity.
No, well, I think my bullshit detector went off there. So I'm going to give you a +1 on the RPG and tough as nails. So that's only a +2. Now you need to get a 10
Oof.
to avoid. But go for it. You want to take the risk.
Before you roll, can I interject something?
Sure.
All right. So as I see what Cassandra's up to, and she's getting ready to make this leap, it hits me what she's trying to do. So I'm going to now follow close behind her, and I'm going to use my same thing, take the risk. I'm going to use my huge tag and the instant muscle building.
Yep.
With the intent that I'm kind of right behind her. So if it looks like she's not going to make it, I'm going to kind of grab her by the shoulder and lift her with me to get across the building.
Well, you could suggest that this could be a change the game. Where you see what she is doing, and if you on a success, you basically create the scene as you want it to happen.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So you see, she's taking the risk for sure.
Gotcha.
But you're going to change the game. If this is going to go to hell, you're going to change the game here. So you might want to override what she's doing and change the game, or you might want to just kind of be there, do a leap, and start stretching out those arms.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's have both of you roll at the same time.
Okay.
As this chaotic events. You've got +2. What are you tagging on, Jeff?
I think I can do. I don't know. Well, huge. Would that apply? I'm kind of figuring that I'm big and that I have the instant muscle, so I'm going to be able to leap easily.
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
Now I'm going to try to negotiate something too, because I also have the power tag of glamorous, and if I pull this off, it will look so awesome. I jump off the roof and do sort of a twirl and whatever.
So describe that move to make it sound glamorous. So you're doing some kind of twirl in there. What, you kicking your legs up, or what's happening?
Well, no, as I'm jumping off the roof, I sort of do a pirouette and fire down and sort of have my arms stretched out and the idea is if I pull it off, I will land sort of backwards, but land down on the ground, sort of in a superhero pose, and kind of slide a little bit on a roof.
Okay, I'll give you it for a laugh. So have you rolled yet?
I'm about to roll now.
Okay, both of you go ahead and roll and add your tags. Jesse?
Do it. I rolled a 4, and you said, so yeah, that's not gonna happen.
That is where
I jump and I twirl and I go to do it, and I totally missed my mark, and now I'm starting to flounder in the air.
The Ukrainian judge holds up a little card and it says 1.
Because as you're rushing behind her, to do your thing, you see her doing some kind of crazy move that she absolutely epic fails. It's supposed to be looking like ballet, but it basically what happens is she tries to do a move and ends up with this bazooka underneath her, firing it down at the. So you realise that she's going to go up, and what goes up must come down. All right.
I'm dealing with a bunch of amateurs here.
You don't see this.
You
saw nothing.
I didn't see you fall off the roof.
I know.
How did you get on, Mitosis? How about your...
So surprisingly, with my +2 tag and my dice roll, I got a 12.
Okay.
So the way I'm imagining, or go ahead. Yep.
So this is with a 12. They call that dynamite. Okay. So basically, you describe whatever you've changed the game. Okay. This is a total success. So you describe how you rescue Excalibur out of this disaster that she's just performed.
So I see it all sort of play out in slow motion. So I see her leap up. I see her sort of stumble and get turned around and twisted. The rocket goes off, and she's sort of like that look on her eyes, like, I'm not going to make this. As Mitosis is kind of like now arching over top of her, I'll reach down with my left arm, and it extends like 3 times its length.
Okay.
And grabs her by the shoulder, and then I lift her up with me, and we land on top of the roof.
And do you land in any particular, seeing as she epically failed the style move, what kind of way do you land? Do you land with the babe across your arms,
More glamorous than she tried to be.
And the way I see it is I would land in sort of a tumble and very non-glamorous, but I've been able to keep her elevated enough so that when I finally do come to a resting stop, all I do is just gently set her down on the roof.
That was meant to happen. That was exactly.
That's what I meant to do. That's what I meant to do.
So we'll say by this time, although not a lot of time has passed, you guys, Override and Postmortem, you're now back into the gallery as you realise you hear more shenanigans going on up on the rooftop, and you can make your way there if you want. Maybe Override glances into the office there, and you see on the video footage something that looks like some chaotic ballet, with the two of them leaving the roof. Everybody seems to, every time they go up to the roof, just leave the roof,
For whatever reason. I have to go back up to the roof to get my rifle case anyway, so I'll just kind of brush myself off and, head up.
So what we'll say happens on the second roof, on the roof along, so we'll call him Bird Boy, okay? So Bird Boy has landed on that roof, and he's looking behind you, and you see that instead of flying onto the next roof, he's just like, he just can't believe what, he's never seen a show like this before in his life, And so let's just say it gives you an opportunity to take a move before he launches away.
All right, so I'll get up, dust myself off. I'll be like, thanks. And I look at him, and this thing hasn't tried to attack us.
Do one of these, Wayne. Maybe he saw something.
What I'll do is I will sort of do a bow, kind of like I'm like an acrobat or something like that, and like, hey, we were just up here to try to entertain you. Now, can we talk?
He's twitching, you know, and you can see he looks a little bit conflicted, but he turns and begins to head off.
And I'll say, wait, we just want to talk.
Can I interrupt right there, because we are 5:18? I mean, I'm okay with it, but I just make sure if anybody has to go.
I can go to like 5:30 if we want to tie this up here.
Are you
Or
okay?
at least get a.
Yeah, that sounds good. 5:30 is good.
Okay, cool, thanks. Okay, guys, you the other two, Override and Postmortem, you're now back on the rooftop again of the gallery, and you're seeing, you know,
Yep.
this stuff kind of transpiring. So if you want to do anything here, that's absolutely cool.
But just to be clear, we're still on the art gallery's built rooftop.
Yeah.
They're on the
Yes.
Yeah, it's a bit like the opening of the Matrix, you know, the rooftop run with really bad, you know, explosions and ballet moves and things like that. So he turns back to look when you say that. You just want to talk. What do you want to do? Do you want to try a convince here?
Yeah, I will try to convince. And let's see, I have contacts in every neighborhood. I have, friends in high places that I could use. So
That's not really going to affect him.
yeah, I was looking at some of the other stuff, but those are new power tags like street cred and all that other stuff. So.
I would suggest you're glamorous, even though he's not sure what on earth you just performed there. But you're glamorous. You've got the bullshit detector. That would work.
Okay. So yeah, I'll
You've also got seasoned negotiator.
Yeah, so I'll use those.
Okay, that's a +3 then. That's not bad if you want to give it a go.
Yeah. All right, so that's a 7 altogether.
Okay, it says under convince. You know, on a hit, you basically get your status tier with power. Your target can take a status. So, that basically means that you can give this guy a status where you're convincing him, seducing him, or talking them into something. And on a 7 to 9, they give in a little bit, protect their own agenda. So I'm going to say that they give in a little bit. He holds off leaving, and he just says, "Oh, I shouldn't be talking to you."
I say, well, look, we just want to know, you know, who broke in and why. Did you? I mean, apparently you've been up here. Did you see anybody break in to the art gallery?
No, I didn't see the break-in. I came later.
Did he see anyone leave?
Yeah, did you see anyone leave?
No, I was just sent to watch to see who was checking it out. And with that, he turns around and says, "I need to go," and he flutters off to the next rooftop, and he launches off.
Is the next rooftop our gallery or even further away?
The next one again, yeah, so 2 away.
Okay.
Well,
he's obviously kind of spooked. He said what he said, that he was there to see who was checking it out, but he's leaving unless one of you want to do something to apprehend.
I'm not going to apprehend him, but why not follow him to see where he goes?
That sounds like a job for me.
Exactly.
Yeah, what could you do to track this guy? Remember, he's going to be fluttering and flying, you know, apart from following the feathers.
Do you have any sort of tracking devices?
I do have a tracking device. That is one of my power tags. I have a tracking device, and I've got gadgets. So I've got a tracking device, and I have tracking.
How do you imagine, or how do you see that? How could you get that tracking device to where you need it? What kind of gadget is it that you've got that you could do something with?
I mean, he has clothing on. It's not like he's covered in feathers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just going to say it's got some sort of Velcro or adhesive on it, and I'm just going to, throw it, and see if it sticks, to be quite honest.
Yep.
Because he's flying away. He's not coming back.
Well, why don't you hit it with all you've got? When you get a clear shot, you use your ability, and basically you can get it good if you want, if you get a good roll. What do you want to use to get that gadget where you need it to be?
Martial arts, because
Okay.
that would probably allow for a specificity. I know how to throw, where I'm not just underhand throwing it. I can take aim, and there's a precision involved. That's the word I was looking for.
Kind of like throwing stars.
Yeah, like throwing shurikens.
Yeah. I'm wondering, because you guys are together, if Override, have you got any abilities that you could kind of help post-mortem and give him a boost here?
I was thinking about that because I was wondering if this doesn't play out that well, if I might also be able to change the game, and if the tracking device doesn't make its target, if I could maybe act on my super speed to try and, I don't know how it would work as far as having to still jump the building, but if I was able to get over there and snatch the tracking device out of the air and attach it to his jacket, but put myself like immediately after I attach it back to where Mitosis and Excalibur are, so it doesn't look like I was actually at him, but I was still able to attach the device.
And some of your skills are quite interesting. You've got one that says act just before it happens, so it's almost a little bit premonition-like. So you would kind of know.
But he helped me aim. Like if he knew, before I take the action, could he say, throw a little to the left? Could he anticipate which way Bird Boy is going to move?
Maybe he could be saying, just before he goes off, he could be saying he's going to go, and at that point you launch a tracker before he actually launches off the roof. It's like
skeet shooting, where you're aiming ahead of the skeet, so by the time the shot is, you fire the shot, the skeet's there, so they intersect each other.
What I was actually kind of thinking is that if let him go with his ability to throw that, if that doesn't play out, and I do that to change the game, but I don't even make it look like, I don't even acknowledge the fact that I did anything to it. I just make it look like it was in fact his throw.
Oh, that's cool.
I take no credit.
So you keep your power hidden a little bit, Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so post-mortem, we'll forget the plus. You do your raw roll with your bonuses that you've got yourself, and then if that doesn't work out, then we've got the change.
Okay, we'll kind of separate the two.
Yeah.
So I'm using tracking device. That's one.
Yep.
Martial arts is 2.
Yep.
Can I double stack? Because I also have tracking as a tag.
I kind of imagine that more like you're following the track, and things like that.
Okay, so I've definitely got a +2.
Yeah, definitely +2. Yeah.
All right. 11 total.
Nice. Okay, so if this was a hit with all you've got, basically on a 10+, you get to choose 2. So you take cover or secure a better position. So basically, you've got good positioning if you want it. or let's say with the tracking device, you can position it where you want it. You get them good. You control the collateral damage. You hold the target's attention. So basically, you've got the upper hand. You've got the tracking device where you want it.
Right. So here's what I'm going to say. The tracking device attaches. It's attached. It's thrown hard enough where the beating of his wings and his movement will not knock the tracking device off. And it's also placed in such a way where it's not readily available, where he can't look down on his sleeve and brush it off. It's hidden, or it's in a way where it's not obvious. So he's not knowing that he's going to be tracked.
He had the hoodie on, so maybe it's in the fold of the hoodie, or
right. So when he goes like this to take the hoodie off, it covers the tracking device. It's in the fold.
Fantastic. Okay, so he flutters off to the next roof. You launch that in time. Override, you want to do a lap of the building or anything like that, just for special effects, or to kind of do something? I don't know.
No, that's. I think that if I acted just before it happens, I would have used my speed to follow it along. But
that was all me, baby. That was all me.
Seeing as I didn't have to intervene at all, I'm just standing next to Mitosis and Excalibur now.
Yeah, I mean, a great power that you've got there along that line would be you have perfect spatial sense. So if you're moving at speed across a building, then you've got complete spatial awareness. So that would really be a bonus for something like that.
Okay.
You're on the rooftop with other guys like in a second. No problem. So you fire up your gadget. You've got a little ping going off. On the sat nav, and the credits roll as the episode ends at this cliffhanger. Almost
Perfect.
For next time.
Nice.
Super
nice.
Well done, guys. Well done.
Very nice.
Well, we've taken our time. This is really like being an introduction today, the way it's worked. We've taken our time, but I think, and probably we've even done the moves more frequently than we necessarily need to in every case, but it's given us a brilliant feel for what's going on. So what I'll do is I think it's still recording. I'll end the recording and we can have a quick chat before you guys go, just to wind up.